sister calls again and says that he had went through her phone. So he went through her phone and saw the text messages between her and Toxic. And bruh said, I quote, "I'ma shoot up that mother." Yes. All right, so y'all ready for part two? So definitely thank you so much for checking out the last video. I definitely appreciate that. Like I was saying in the last video, definitely go ahead and hit the like button so we can go ahead and get this video into the algorithm, so this video series can go ahead and help other people out there that may be experiencing the same thing. Or if it is helping you out, or you know, you're able to relate any way like that, definitely go ahead and just show some love. It is your boy's birthday month. Why not? I'm going ahead and giving y'all some tea. You know, y'all can just go ahead and just show a little bit of love, okay? We're trying to grow this little platform of mine. We're gonna dive right into part two. If you did not check out part one, definitely go ahead and check out part one. All right, so I had plenty of time to reflect, you know, driving back to Florida, and on my way to Florida, I was talking back and forth to my ex, and we're gonna give him a name. We're gonna call him Toxic, because that's exactly what the hell he was. It's just extremely toxic. And when I got back into Florida, and I remember pulling over on the side of the road, I believe I took like a nap or whatever. And I woke up, got back on the road, called him and everything, and I was on my way there. Because I was just going to end up staying with him. I didn't necessarily like make any other type of accommodations when I was coming back, because remember, I sold my house. I didn't have a house anymore, moved everything out of it, put everything in storage. So at this point, theoretically, like, I was at the mercy of staying with somebody. I didn't have the funds and, you know, the financial stability at that time to go ahead and just go get a place, which it was hard to get a place at that time. So I just say, you know what, the hell with it. No, we haven't been together that long, but we spent so much time together. Sure, we can stand each other for the next month and a half of the time frame of when I was supposed to be originally coming to Atlanta, where I am currently now. Nothing could prepare me for that phone call that I had received that day, that morning. Y'all, what I mean to tell you, this individual calls me, we're on the phone, and he tells me that he hears somebody screaming next to him, which is the unit next to him. And he came outside. He told me to hold on. And he went outside, and I was holding, and I'm driving, of course. I'm driving back to Florida. And I'm into Florida, but I'm driving down to the area. Y'all know Florida big as hell. You drive into the state, you gotta drive, well, it's 4 hours from the state line to Tampa, and then where he was at, it was a little further south than Tampa. So I had like a couple more hours to go of driving. It wasn't that long, but I had some time left. And some time went by, and he came back on the phone, and he went ahead and told me that his neighbor had killed herself. And I know y'all probably like,
wait a damn minute.
Okay, that's sad, but what does that have to do with him? So him and this particular individual has a history, okay? They were, I wouldn't say like they were like friends or anything like that, but they were cool. Like they would, you know, hang out together, they would smoke together, stuff like that. And apparently, like, they were on somewhat of bad terms from what I remember. They were smoking together, and then they ended up, she ended up like stealing from him some bud. She ended up let's just call it like it is. She was a drug addict. She had 2 kids, stuff like that. And, you know, it's unfortunate the way how she died. However, she did steal his weed, steal his bud, and yeah, she stole his bud, and he had texted her about it or something like that, and they were just were on good terms because she denied it. So at the time of her death, this was literally like, I want to say probably like 2 weeks prior to her dying, that they had their little like fiasco or issue, whatever you want to call it. And he had told her off, and so he kind of felt bad, and I was kind of like telling him like, it's okay, I understand, like that was you guys' last encounter, because now he's like feeling a type of way, and I'm like, it's gonna be fine and all that. And at the time, no law enforcement or anything was called because she was just discovered. So he was saying that he didn't really feel comfortable staying there, and that he was gonna go to his sister's house, which was just down the street from Toxic. So I told him just to go ahead and just, if you don't feel comfortable staying there at that time, I understand, like a death just happened, like it's traumatic, it's right next to you at that, just go ahead and leave. So he leaves, and I want to say maybe about an hour and a half later, about 90 minutes later, I had finally arrived down there, and I picked him up, and he was still kind of shooken up and all that, and I kind of hugged him and consoled him and everything, and told him it was going to be okay. And I was like, what do you want to do for the time being? I know that's going to take some time, whatever. So he had told his sister, just keep me in the loop of what's going on, because she was literally just down the street from this apartment complex. So I was like, well, you know what? We're both hungry. Let's go ahead and get some food. Let's kind of just like, catch up. I know that, yeah, we talk every day, whatever, but when you haven't seen your loved one, your partner, whatever, for a while, you kind of want to spend time with them. So we went ahead and got some food to eat and everything. And during this time, like, he's communicating back and forth with his sister, and she was saying like nothing has happened yet. And this has been like a couple hours that went by. Nothing has happened yet. The coroners have not came yet. And then he got in one phone call when we were out. We had went out to breakfast. We got breakfast, and then we went around to like what's this place called Armature Works in Tampa. If you guys know the Tampa Bay area, if you've ever been there, it's like an adult food court, basically. It's pretty cool, and it's right next to the Riverwalk. That's what I was trying to say, the Riverwalk. And we were there, and his sister called him and said, hey, this guy pulled up, said that he's, her boyfriend or whatever, and found out what happened, and he's not letting anybody in to the unit to get her. So the coroners are there at this point. He's not letting anybody in the unit to go ahead and get her. He's heartbroken, which is to be expected. Just lost his girlfriend, whatever. Her kids at the time were not there. Her kids were with family. But nobody had heard from her, so that's why the sister went to go check up on her. So at this point, now we're like up in the air. First of all, I'm tired. I'm extremely tired. I want to shower. I've just driven over 20 something hours. I want to relax. I want to like do something. I want to like get cleaned up and all that. And at this point, I really didn't have, and it's still pandemic at that time. Like the pandemic was pretty strong at that time. So I didn't really want to go to someone's home or anything like that, and I really don't mess with a lot of people, and I'm still kind of like that. I don't really deal with a lot of people, so it was just easier for me to just go ahead and just kind of like have my own accommodation. So I had some money and stuff like that, so I was like, okay, well, if we can't do that, whatever, let's just look for a hotel, because at this point it's starting to get a little later in the day. We both want to shower and stuff like that. So we were already making that executive decision just for the night to go ahead and do that. Yeah. His sister calls again and says that he had went through her phone. So he went through her phone and saw the text messages between her and Toxic. And bruh said, I quote, "I'ma shoot up that mother." Yes. And I was like, so we're both, so he had his sister on speakerphone, and I was just like, oh, okay. So I said, well, where's the cops? Like, where's law enforcement? Like, what is going on? Like, why is law enforcement not there to control this situation? Like, he's threatening tenants now. Like, you can't do that. So we were under the assumption that this dude was not on the lease or whatever. So we were like, okay, well, you know, this is. I believe I got back on a Sunday. I think so. So I was like, it's Sunday, they're closed, whatever. And I know it was a weekend day, and we were like, okay, well, when, you know, when that time comes, we'll deal with it. So we both decided, between him and his sister, and myself, all of us just decided, you know what, it's just not safe to go back there for the night. The coroners haven't even done their job yet. I'm tired. I want to relax. So, yeah, we just went ahead and just checked into a hotel. So we checked into the hotel and everything and got settled in and all that for the night. And the next morning, he gets up and he calls the apartment community. They're like investigating it and everything like that. These people have the audacity and the nerve to go ahead and say, well, he's on the lease, so we can't tell him to leave. But your lease is up at the end of the month, and you haven't renewed it. So if you want to leave, you can leave without any penalties, but that's the best that we can do. So you mean to tell me that somebody is threatening to shoot my fucking apartment up, and I am basically being told I can just leave because I didn't re-sign my lease? And if I did re-sign my lease, what, were you guys going to move me to a different unit? So he just was like, fuck it, at this time, you know, I'm just going to move out, all that. And I'm looking at him like, bruh, like, what do you mean you're going to move out? Like, I don't have somewhere to go. You don't have that arranged. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, at this point, I was like, I could go stay with some friends. I can stay, you know, I have close friends and stuff like that in Tampa. I just didn't want to bother anybody. But I'm like, why would you want to do that? He was like, well, you know, everybody's like, my life's in jeopardy and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So he gave in and moved out of the apartment. So at this point, we were basically stuck at that hotel. And if y'all know anything about hotels, they get expensive. Very, very expensive. And at that time, like I was saying in the last video, I've been working for myself. I didn't have a job. At that time, he had one job. He had two, but only had one job. So it just started to put a damper on everything, and like it was crazy. Like within that literally weekend and week, he lost his place. Then his car gave out on him, and then he ended up having to take his car to the junkyard. So it was just so much that was going on, so much that was going on. And I just, even now, like I'm sitting here telling the story, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even fathom like the fact of like everything that he probably could have been going through at that time. Not just let alone me, because I would have been okay either way. But for someone to lose everything like that quickly over a stupid situation is just, you know, yes, it's unfortunate that she overdosed and killed herself, but it's just like, like why was this idiot allowed to go ahead and threaten to shoot? Because at this point, like, the whole entire building evacuated because this man like threatened to shoot up the whole area, and he did not get punished at all or arrested or anything, but we had to leave. So it's just like it's just crazy, like but yeah, guys, so definitely that concludes this particular part of this series. Definitely go ahead, like I said before, go ahead and shoot this video like so we can go ahead and put it into the algorithms. Go ahead and show some love and support for your boy, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.